In my video earlier today, I brought up Paul Krugman's story, his op-ed, about how Republicans are the real extremists. I'm also wearing glasses because my contacts are all screwed up. But I digress. You've probably never seen me do that. Here's the story. Paul Krugman says, today's column tries, among other things, to make the point that Republicans are way to the right of the public on economic issues, and even most Democrats may be a bit to the right. Okay, he's wrong. It's really weird. It's really weird he would say that and then show this graph. So I decided to look into this graph, and I included it in my main channel video, so this will be like an addendum as, man, this graph is fascinating, and this may be one of the most important graphs for the culture war you'll ever see. Check it out. This is what Krugman showed, the 2016 electorate. Here's Trump, all the red, okay? So red is Trump, blue is Clinton. Maybe I can make this bigger. Here we go. Red is Trump and blue is Clinton. Now check this out. This is the social identity dimension. -1 is liberal and +1 is conservative. So here is conservative on identity issues, and left to right is conservative on economic issues. So this in the corner, if you were over here, you would be on social issues, conservative, on economic issues, conservative. Over here, you would be conservative on identity politics, but liberal on economic policy. Check it out. Look how many of Trump's base are actually rather liberal on economic policy. Krugman thinks this proves Republicans are extremists. He's wrong. He's absolutely wrong. What it shows is that in terms of identity politics, a lot of people say, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Even so here's this is mind-blowing. Seriously, check this out. If the Democrats got rid of identity politics, they might actually win. That's a damn shame, isn't it? Because here I am. I didn't vote for Trump or Clinton, so put me as a yellow. And I'm probably, slightly to the center on economic issues, but away from them. Actually, I'm probably down here in terms of social identity issues. I am not in this weird cluster. Look how far left the left is. They're quite literally as far left as you can go. Look at this line. There's no conservatives over here, okay? There's one conservative extremist on this graph. So they say, how do they pull this? It's probably a poll, but we'll read through it up at the top. But I want to look at this chart real quick, because check it out. The most extreme you really get when it comes to Trump's base is opposing identity politics. Now, the people up here are probably very, very anti-identity politics, but you can even see that among Trump voters, there are people who entertain that some issues of identity are actually important. One of the issues that I've brought up over and over again is that social justice is a good thing, but this weird corner is not social justice. It's absolutely not social justice, okay? See this huge concentration of socialist identitarians? That's Clinton's base. So what happens if you're outside of this? Well, if you're not in this diehard cluster of socialist identitarians, they point the finger at you, accusing you of being something else. Now imagine this. Let's say you are right here, and you're one of these blue, red, or yellow dots. When this cluster looks at you, behind you they see Trump's base, and they assume you're Trump's base. And then all the way over here, anti-identity, economics, you're going to get the fringe right, and they see them and assume this whole base. But look, listen. There's one thing that seems to unite the majority of Trump's voters, and it's not economic policy. It's identity politics. Identity politics has literally pushed liberals into the arms of Trump. How many times have I said this? How many times do I need to say this? This graph is from 2017. Paul Krugman trying to claim the Republicans are the extremists. I see the point he's making. I do. That here's what he's saying. Look, most people are on the left. Look at this. Most people on the left of economic policy issues. Totally fine. Unfortunately for you, you get Trump elected when you start pushing fringe identitarianism, and people like me are like, I'm backing away. So what happens? These yellow dots. I'm one of these others. I didn't vote for Trump or Clinton. I don't want either of them. But I will say these people are crazy. Look how clustered they are around their ideology. So people like me end up leaving. They lost their vote. If they didn't embrace this nonsense, Clinton was really bad. I wouldn't vote for Clinton either way. I would have voted for Bernie. And my next video is about Bernie, and it's really hilarious, trust me. So Trump's base is moderate. Absolutely moderate. Look at this. You got some people who are social liberals. Okay, if left to right is the economic spectrum, then people who are center left are like social liberal and center right are classical liberal. And you can see that Trump's base are in the center. It's the Democrats that have gone off the deep end and clustered around identity politics. Look at this, identity and economic, all on the left. Very few of the Democrats are conservative economically. What's really creepy, look at these yellow dots, even some of these red dots. These are economic conservatives, identitarians. This is your alt-right. Seriously, okay. The people who are economically conservative but identitarian are your more likely right identitarians, okay? This is right here. Look how few and far between they are. It's rare. Almost none. Everyone avoids economic conservatism plus identitarianism. But the left has just absolutely embraced identitarianism as well as left-wing economic policy. Trump's base, anti-identitarian conservative economics and anti-identitarian across the board. So here's what I think we see. Some of these blue dots on the conservative side are never Trumpers. You can see they're kind of rare too. These are conservatives on both issues who are like, I'm not going to vote for Trump, I'm voting for Hillary. But look at all of the people that are anti-identitarian, socialists. Look at these red dots right here. That's as far left as you can go. That's like socialist economics, but they're anti-identitarian, so nope, ain't going to vote for Clinton. Seriously, look at this. Identity politics. Let's see what this is about. Let's start with the beginning. I'll start with the beginning and I'm going to jump down. Tensions between and within the two parties. Key findings. The primary conflict struck in the two parties involves questions of national identity, race, and morality, while the traditional conflict over economics, though still important, is less divisive now than it used to be. This has the potential to reshape the party coalitions. Yeah. One of the things that you see like Ezra Klein and Vox trying to do is say that people like me are conservative, even though economically and even on social issues. Check this out. First, let me just stress. They say that economics, still important, is less divisive because, yes, what they want to do is they want to take someone like me who's probably down here. You know, I'm like rather neutral on identity issues. I recognize the importance of fighting for social justice, but avoiding authoritarianism and avoiding the fringe regressives who want to just shut everyone down and take away everyone's freedom. No. That's not how you solve the problem. Racism, these are problems. Sexism, transphobia, homophobia, problems. You solve them, compassion, liberty, understanding. We have done so well in this country to expand civil rights to various groups through liberty. We've expanded liberty to people, civil liberties, not by going the other direction. So what do? Here's me doting around this line as a center leftist on economic policy, leaning somewhat in favor of identity politics, and they look at me and they insult, they attack, and deride. They want this cluster here to be the conservatives, not this cluster. That way they can claim these people are all far right and then point to me as, Ezra Klein claiming Dave Rubin is a reactionary right-winger. That way they can shift the Overton window. Then CBS has this show where they say that they should also enforce the Overton window by punching people in the face. They're nuts. Let's see this. By making questions of national identity more salient, Donald Trump succeeded in winning over populists, socially conservative, economically liberal voters. Look at this. People like me, who are economically liberal and socially conservative. Well, I shouldn't say like me because I wouldn't even consider myself socially conservative. I would consider myself socially moderate or even socially liberal. But these people are fringe, socially hardcore left, like ridiculous. But you have people who are like, yeah, of course racism is bad, but you're kind of losing it. But they're economically liberal. So what happens? They vote for Trump. If the Democrats get rid of identity politics, they would win. They don't care though. Who had previously voted for Democrats. Among populists who voted for Obama, Clinton did terribly. She held on to only 6 in 10 of these voters. Trump picked up 20% of these voters, and the remaining 14% didn't vote for either major party candidate. That's why Clinton lost. She didn't get Obama's voters. To the extent that the Democratic Party is divided, these divisions are more about faith in the political system and general disaffection than they are about issue positions. By contrast, Republican voters are more clearly split for the most part. Trump and Cruz supporters look fairly similar, though Cruz supporters are considerably more conservative on moral issues and notably less concerned about inequality and the social safety net and more pro-free trade. Kasich supporters are true moderates, caught in between the two parties on almost every issue, both economic and social. In both parties, the donor class is both more conservative on economic issues and more liberal on social issues as compared to the rest of the party. Democrats may be pressured to move further left on identity issues, given that both younger voters in the party's donor class are quite far to the left on identity issues. If so, American politics would become further polarized along questions of culture and identity. And that's where we're headed. The divide is becoming identity politics or not. And that's why I think you see this weird confusion. Why would someone claim Count Dankula was far right? Because he's anti-identitarian, and the left is identitarian. But it's weird that they try and claim that they're alt-right as well, because alt-right is identitarian. The alt-right is more in line with their positions than they even realize. The only difference is the stance on which race and how and when. So you can take a look at some of the alt-right people. They'd actually come down here, not super far left, but absolutely on identity issues. Culture and identity is the most important thing, and the Republicans are resisting. This graph shows us that the Democrats, the people who voted for Clinton, are not only far left, there's a huge cluster of leaning socialist and identitarian, which is what we see in the culture war, and those of varying backgrounds unified against them. Isn't that crazy? People who don't like Trump but don't want identitarianism have backed away from the Democrats, and some of them are red. These red dots up here, absolutely insane. I'm gonna end. I'm gonna end with this one quick snippet from a new video from Jonathan Pie. Jonathan Pie is fantastic, and I'm gonna play this quick clip. I'm not gonna play too much. I just want you to see what he has to say very shortly. Very short segment.
But you keep calling everyone a Nazi, you're going to have to find a new word for the actual Nazis. People who imply staunch Remainers are worse than the Nazis are the same people who helped get Brexit over the line in the first place. If you simply shout Nazi at anything you don't like the look of, you tend to lose the argument, or in this case, the referendum.
He's talking about Brexit, but this is absolutely on point with what we're seeing today. They keep calling everyone a Nazi. Anyone outside of this little cluster, Nazi. And this is what we're really talking about. People who don't want the identity issues plaguing. If you're a staunch conservative on the issue, you're like, get it out of there. Or if you're even more liberal in an area like me where you're like, no, it's okay. Let's just get rid of the authoritarianism. Nope, everybody's bad. I got another funny video coming up in a few minutes. Stick around. I will see you shortly.